There we go. We're all live. So hey everybody, welcome to Social Media Manager Pro. Hangout for today. My name is Kurt Molly. Today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about expanding and hiring. I'm going to make this a pretty short class because there's a lot of stuff that we have to go over. So just a couple of things. We wanted to talk about hiring and expanding. So really cool stuff going on here down in the bunker. We go from kind of basically working in my house with just by myself, and then with Shecky, and then with Zach, now having an office where we have close to 10 employees coming up here too, which is awesome. Hang on one second. I just got another question. Vanessa, will you come over and tell everybody hi? Say, hey, everybody. You are internationally known now. That is Vanessa. She's awesome as well too. So are you looking for one of those? Hey, how's it going? That computer right over there? If you want it, you can move that into the office and back over there. Which one? Yeah. Yeah. Yep, move it towards the end. Sorry about that. So what we have today, you'll meet Ashley here in just a couple of minutes. Ashley is my personal executive assistant that started today too. She's out getting paper towels and ballpoint pens for Zach, which is, honestly, we hired someone just because to take even just a little stuff and help run them to get some of that stuff is absolutely awesome. So I'm watching this text go over here. Inside Social Media Manager Pro, which is awesome. So let's talk about hiring at the end of the day. You know, I went to an event last July, which I got this thing right here was the Accelerated Learning, which was an Eben Pagan event. I'm sure you can't see the Accelerated Learning right here. Hey, Jeremy. Basically, what happened is at the Accelerated Learning is I really found out that, hey, look, if I want to grow a business from a laptop, I can unequivocally do that. However, if I want to grow a successful business where I can actually not donate just $100 to, instead of just donating just $100 to a church, I could actually build a church or build a school, you know, or do something just bigger. So to be able to do something bigger, I knew I needed to hire some really good people around me. Well, we always had outsourcers, but man, I'll tell you one thing, having people down here in the bunker, we did try some co-location working before with just some other entrepreneurs. As many of you already know, I'm a loud talker. So typically those environments didn't help me out much. So there would be other entrepreneurs there, but I really wanted a group of entrepreneurs that would work directly with myself. And moving down here in the bunker, I mean, with Zach and Shecky and now everybody else that we have down here, we're just all sitting in the same room. So our communication just moves so much faster. But one of the things that we're really focused on is as we're growing bigger, is we also need to maintain that high level of quality as well too. I mean, we have some. I'm grateful for the clients that we have, but we always have to make sure that we have really high quality. Not out of fear of loss that they're going to go away, but in my opinion, it's really led by just quality driven. Like I want to be known to have a really good name in the industry, and I could take a lot of money from people and not perform, and just not very good karma. So I want to be around for a long time. So basically what we're doing is the whole strategy of this is, first of all, you got to do the task first before you can outsource it. Then we did do some outsourcing with some of our tasks that are very simple, like I want you to do A, B, and C. But anything that required any kind of collaboration, any kind of thought process, any kind of, hey, will you do me a favor, like the situation we're in right now. I mean, you know, Zach runs a lot of the agency where he looks over all the ads, uploads a lot of the ads, makes sure that they're all approved, and I haven't really been a part of that just because that's kind of a part of the process of us growing. However, I want to be able to have, I want to be able to make sure we still have really high quality. Zach has really high quality, so I'm not worried about that, but I always want to make sure that I'm following up and following through and leading by example as well. One of the ways to do that is also to be running ads on a consistent basis. You know, don't ask anybody to do something you're not willing to do. But the communication here has been great, and now what we've really figured out is, okay, what do we want to silo to make our business really take off? So, for instance, we hired somebody named Marlena today, for her first day is today, and what she's going to do is she's going to help control our editorial calendar. So basically what our editorial calendar is, she's going to take a look at all the promotions that we have coming up. If it's a bunker weekend, if it's a new webinar coming up, if it's our social media Ad Genius Insider Club, whatever, she's going to help schedule those emails out, help keep me on schedule, and make sure all of our content's out. So for me, an editorial, someone who's in charge of the editorial calendar is really important because I talk about doing, man, I want to do a bunker weekend. And we talk about doing, man, we'd like to do a live event, but it doesn't get on the calendar, it doesn't get promoted, just because everybody gets really fast. So what we're doing is we're taking a look at our business and saying, okay, what can we silo? So for instance, can that be completely creative? Like, do we just hire people that only do just add copy and just images, and turn it into a factory line, right? We're not dumbed down factory line, but essentially, okay, what are the tasks that we can outsource directly to places like Odesk or Elance? Second step, what tasks are required for collaboration? The only way to really duplicate yourself is A, lead by example, and B, allow people to make mistakes and learn on their own. If you micromanage everything, like no one's ever going to learn. But on the other hand of it too is you got to have some processes written out. So a lot of the things that we have going on for the summer, for example, is we have Sam. Will you come over and say hi? I want you guys to meet Sam. Sam, hey. Say hi to everybody out in internet land.
Hi.
There you go.
Land.
Yep, pretty big internet land out there.
I was about to say.
That's it. That's all you got to do. That's pretty good. Yep. Sam is here helping out for the summer as well too as an intern, but just taking care of a lot of stuff. So it's like, you know, getting our computers up and networked. We're moving over to Google Drive with all of our calendars so they match up. Or he's helping write out a lot of what he's doing this summer is writing out standard operating procedures. So when I get a new client in, what information is required for that new client, from that new client, what exactly is required to get it over to Zach, so he starts running it from the operations and the production side. What information does Zach's team absolutely require? So we really start thinking through the processes. So I'm a firm believer of, first of all, one, you got to do the process on your own to understand how to manage it. Two, you should be able to write out exactly what the process is. Right-click this, left-click that, whatever, right? Now, the other thing is like what we're having Sam do is to start to write out our documented processes. So if a new copywriter starts, we can say, hey, follow these processes, follow these trainings to get you up to speed quickly. Okay? So one of the things is do the task yourself. Write out what that task is specifically. Like, what do you want someone to do specifically? If you just hire someone and they just show up and then you got to constantly tell them, oh, yeah, I need you to do, oh, by the way, and, oh, can you do, you're not going to show any consistency. You're not going to be able to really train up. You're training someone to be completely reactionary. And if you really want to grow in your business, the people that you surround yourself with really have to really have to think on their own. They have to be really resourceful, and you guys hear that language that happens all the time. They got to be really resourceful to be able to figure things out so we can really grow the business. So I look at what tasks could I automate, meaning is that someone that I could hire on Odesk or Elance. And again, that is writing out step by step, okay, what exactly do I want this person to do? Creating a standard operating procedure. Again, interns are great to help you do that. From there is to start taking a look, okay, how many clients do we have? And let's say you had to pay $1,000 or $2,000 a month for rent, right? Let's just even say $1,000 in sharing. Could you make up that money by your accelerated learning, meaning your accelerated communication for your business? Right? With having everybody in one location. Now, this could be your house. This could be you meet somewhere twice a week. I'm just telling you something structured where everybody sits in the same room and says, oh, hey, David, I got a quick question. Oh, Daniel, what about, hey, Jeremy, I know you worked on the, having all that stuff is extremely valuable for your business as you continue to grow. People kind of have to make the decision at a point where, hey, you can make money from your laptop, which is great. You can do it on your own, but there's a cap. There's really a cap of ceiling that you can make for income. Now, I mean, income's unlimited. It just depends on how fast you want to move and what you want to do. But I would have had no idea that we would be running full-time Facebook ads like we do now unless I just started running one for our first client, Phil Grove. That worked. I ran another one. That worked. I ran another one. Then I figured, man, I could really use help, which is kind of interesting because as soon as I really started to think about it, that's when, Shecky, will you come and say hi?
Hi.
It was kind of funny as you just walked out because when I started thinking that I needed help, Shecky called me and showed up. Awesome. So when Shecky called and he's like, hey, Kurt, would you want to help me with my business? Here's what I'm doing with my business. And I'm like, dude, I am so damn busy on my business right now. I'm looking for help. And Shecky's like, how about I work with you? And then
who are you talking to here?
I'm talking to the internet land.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Shecky.
Hey, there's
Jeremy. Jeremy says hi. Daniel says hi. David Gonzalez
hello,
says
hello.
hi too.
All right, hi, guys.
You can't hear them, only I can hear them. But they said hi, Shecky.
Okay.
Hey, Janet.
Yeah.
Will you say hi to everybody in internet land?
Hello, everyone.
That's Janet. That's Shecky's new Robin. Here's my new Robin. Come over and say hi to everybody right here. It's okay. Just put your push right there. That's Ashley. Everybody say hi, Ashley.
Yeah.
Hello, hello.
I'm gonna have you take a seat right there. You're gonna listen to this for just a second, And then, yeah, I'll show you where those goes here in a minute. So Ashley is my new executive assistant that is going to help me do stuff, get more stuff done faster besides just drinking coffee, right? And you're going to be hearing from her. So basically, you're not going to be able to hear any of these guys whatsoever because they're all in my headphones. Yeah, just stand there and smile. That's what you're going to do. So what Ashley's going to do is she's going to help arrange my schedule. She's going to make sure that I'm back in the film room when I'm supposed to be, help me with a lot of my really just scheduling, getting things done. So like Jeremy, I know you've been asking for a while, hey, when's the bunker weekend? When are we going to do that? How does that happen? She'll coordinate the hotel, kind of help line up some of those details. A lot of that stuff that just makes our business run just a lot faster. So David's like, so you have 2 executive assistants. No, I have one. Shecky now has one, but Janet's more an executive assistant. She's more of a babysitter for Shecky. She keeps Shecky focused and on task. That is probably the best way. I don't want to call Janet like Shecky's assistant because she's like the get done person for Shecky, right? But really what it comes down to is really listing out, A, writing out everything that you require, B, even hiring an outsourcer from like Odesk or Elance just to see how they work out. And then C comes down to like what we do everybody here is we just start everybody out as contractors before we move into full employees. Everybody goes through a probationary period. Everybody has to prove themselves. We do sword fighting upstairs, and yeah, there's some boxing that goes on. It's part of the first 90 days. Well, I'll explain that stuff later. Other than that, David, you did some. David, if you're still there, you did some hiring of some interns before. You wrote some processes out. You had a bunch of interns. You went down to an intern. Would you mind sharing any of those experiences or any insight that you can give us whatsoever from that journey?
Yeah, well, that was. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you fine, buddy.
All right, cool. Yeah, so that was primarily based on the fact that I was doing some personal development work, and I had a coach that had instructed me to that if I had the luxury to only 100% focus on the things that allowed me to stay in flow, and so I decided the best way for me to do that would be to get an intern or somebody to help, just kind of do all the stuff I didn't want to do. And I learned that after about 3 weeks that without having systems in place, it makes the job really difficult to do for both me as well as the other person. So things didn't quite work out, and that made me take a step back and realize I had to do the work first.
Yep.
And so we've been working on that, and now we're ready to hire, which is why I'm here.
Cool. And I'm happy to help you guys show like how we posted, how we hire, how we're looking for people. I mean, at the end of the day, it's ready for this one. It's our first day. It's our first 2 hours. It's slow to hire, quick to fire. So it's really spending a lot of time on really talking to people. We go through the whole language that we all know here that I go through. Is we just really listen for the language overall, and the whole language is going to predict everything they're going to do. And then from there, we'll bring people in for the first 90 days, and we'll stagger step their pace. Say, hey, if you do well for the first 30, then it goes to this, and then from there it goes to this. And then after 90 days, what we do is we sit down and say, hey, we'd like to make you an offer for full-time employment. But it all goes through a probationary period. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to find out what's really important is how well do they work inside the team culture. That's super important. How efficient are they with their work? And then we focus on IBR all the time. So how focused are they overall in results? So that's really the main thing, and I'm happy to share with you as we go along. We're just expanding real quick, so we're just expanding real quick, and I just want to share with you for what we're doing and how we're expanding, and I'm happy to share more stats with you later. I got one meeting lined up after another today, so I'm kind of bouncing around too. I just wanted to show you, the progression. And you guys have all been here the entire time, so from working by myself to traveling in a hotel room to having an office, and we're looking for bigger office space right now, which is awesome, exciting. But more people you got working for you means more payroll has to be met, which means you got to make more money, which means you got to move a lot damn faster too. So you have to surround yourself with good people. At the end of the day, I'll never forget. I was telling this story to an entrepreneur who was here this weekend, helping us set up our computer network. I'll never forget Richard Branson sitting out in his hammock out on Necker Island. And he's sitting out on his hammock, and all he has is a small little spiral notebook, right, or notepad, right? It just kind of flips open and writes in or whatever. And it's cordless phone, not even a cell phone. And the person interviewing on the Today Show, they're like, "Man, Richard, like you run multi-million-dollar companies. Like you don't even have a cell phone or a laptop." And he goes, "It's not required." And he kind of smiled. He goes, "Not required." He goes, "I just hire good people and surround myself with really good people, and then none of that other stuff is required. I just allow people to run my companies." So that's what we're doing the exact same thing here. We want to put the right people in place and let them run freely, with some guidelines, and people prove themselves out and go from there. So we can switch up. We can move all. You can move all those plugs down, dude. So anyway, any questions, comments, concerns? Divine Revelation. Like I said, I wanted to keep it closer to a half an hour. Any thoughts or questions?
Nothing specific aside from where did you decide to post to get the help? How did you meet the people? I was just curious.
Say that one more time for me, please.
Where did you acquire the help? Did you use Facebook or
I just posted on my personal Facebook page and I promoted it for $7. I then put it on my fan page and promoted it as well too. And then from that, basically what we did is post it on Craigslist. Hang on one second, Veronica. If you want to, you can move that whole laptop in there if you want. But that should hook up to regular Bunker. It should already hook up to the internet. Doesn't?
But you guys are all connected.
We're all connected. You may have to make sure that there's the USB plug. There's in back of it, in back of the computer, that the USB is plugged in. Sorry, this is how busy it gets here as we all start moving. At the end of the day, what's going to happen, Daniel, is I start asking referrals first for my warm market. I then post on my Facebook page to get even kind of a lukewarm market. I'll run $7 on my own personal page, and then I'll run a little ad on Facebook as well too that comes off my fan page. For Jeremy, for your Enlightened Marketing, you maybe run just a small ad in your local area, advertising towards people that may have the personality that you want. And then the last thing is we just put a job in Craigslist, and you're going to get tons of resumes. So here's the way that it works. I only respond back to people if I'm interested a little bit in their application for the resume, right? Like, I don't really spell words right, but if you can't spell words right on your resume, means you just don't give a shit enough about your business, right? Your give a shit factor has to be up just a little bit, right? And then from there, if we like them, we'll set up a quick phone call. And then if nothing else, we'll have them come into the office just so we can meet them face-to-face and kind of go through their IBR and our IBR and just kind of hear the language back. And if we like it from there, then we'll bring them in and say, hey, here's what we're going to do to start for the first 90 days. And then from there, we'll move on. Make sense?
Absolutely. Thanks.
Cool. And again, I'm going to keep you updated on all the processes as well, too. But other than that, I wanted to keep this short. Does anybody else have any questions? By the way, I'll help you guys with some of the standard operating procedures we're going to write up. I'm happy to share those with you guys as well, too. I mean, we're growing really fast. I'm happy to share all that information with you. Any questions, comments, concerns, or divine revelations?
Everything you just described right now, like as far as you starting with your warm market, then posting to your Facebook wall, and then spending some money, and then putting all that stuff, do you have that written out, or was that just off the top of your head?
That was the stuff that I just always do at the top of my head. I mean, the first thing, well, it's funny because David's on here today. The first thing that I did is I post on my personal Facebook page. The second thing I did is I went to the Internet Marketing Party and just told people that I was looking for people, and that conversation just kind of bred to other conversations. And I know not everybody is fortunate enough to have the world's best party, not one of, but the best, David Gonzalez. Just to let you know. Not one of, the best. And then from there, I just asked for some personal referrals, and then that's when my personal ad went up on my personal page, and then Craigslist. And Craigslist will give you a ton of people. All qualified, but a ton of people. Does that help?
Yep. I also wanted to add that even just sitting here for these 30 minutes has been helpful, because the first part I resisted, the must do the task before you can outsource it. There were a couple of things that we were thinking, oh, we should just get somebody and have them do it. But I've learned over time that the moment I get that feeling is the moment I need to pay attention to it and just do it anyway. So.
Speaking of what's really interesting, I got to share this here real quick, because I know that we're all into self-improvement and feelings and whatnot. So really interesting. I was watching the reality TV show Obsessed. Have you ever seen Obsessed, where people have like OCD? So they're where people are crazy, right? They document it. Where basically what was really interesting is it was this father that used to be a trucker all over the U.S. And then he was out. It's so weird how people get their own issues inside their melon that gets them all mixed up, right? Like scrambled eggs. But basically this guy's out fishing, and a lightning bolt strikes next to him. And he's like, oh my God, I could die. And then like he got this comfort zone, which is like a 100-mile radius from his house to 50 miles to like it went down to a 5-mile safety radius from his house. That's all he would travel to. And then it was hereditary to his 2 kids. One, and now they're 30. They haven't gone to like a park or a beach since they've been 8 years old. They're 30. They now have kids. One of the girls' kids has a kidney problem that they have to go on this big old bridge to the other side in some place in Florida. The mom's scared to go over the bridge. She won't even take her own son to the doctor. The dad has to take him to the doctor. The other mom won't even take her, like wants to drive her kid to college, but it's 2 hours away and she can't. Like, it's interesting how their feelings are like, I can't go out of this certain safety zone. And the therapy for that, which I thought was really unique and a marketing learning opportunity, especially for an entrepreneur, she would make like the father was the worst. She'd make the father go outside a 10-mile square radius, and then the father would start having a panic attack. Like they had panic attacks all the time. And the lady would be like, okay, Vern, where you at? He's like, I'm at an 8. I'm at an 8. Okay, where are you at now? I'm at a 10. Like, I'm at a 10. The guy would start chain smoking and start freaking out. He's like, I'm at a 10. And the therapist, I thought this was brilliant. Well, I mean, she's a therapist, so obviously. The first thing she said is she goes, by asking them what level that they are at, 8, 10, or whatever, it's recognizing that they can now put a number on what they're feeling right now. So they believe, which they are, they're in control. So if I was with Jeremy and Jeremy didn't like to drive past a certain point, right, I'd say, Jeremy, what are you feeling right now? You're like, a 10, dude, I just want to smoke a pack of cigarettes. And Jeremy used to chain smoke cigarettes, right? I mean, if you've heard Jeremy's story, he used to chain smoke cigarettes and drink Red Bull. So if Jeremy started chain smoking cigarettes, I'd be like, okay, Jeremy, where you at? Dude, I'm at a 10. Kurt, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Okay, Jeremy, just stay with it. Here's what she would say in the second part. Stay with it and hold it. Just stay with it. You're at a 10, and you're even getting more pissed. She's like, it's okay. Just let it go through your body. Just stay with it. Hold on to it. Recognize it. Sit with it. Just sit with it. Jeremy, where are you at? I'm at a fucking 9. I'm going to kill somebody. Sit with it. Just let it pass. And literally about a minute later, they'd be like, I'm at a 2. And what it did is it showed them at that point that because they faced it and they allowed their anxiety to go to 10 and they stuck with it and they held it instead of its fight or flight, they would run from it. But if they stuck with it and stayed with it, that feeling started to slowly subside. And subconsciously they believed, I'm in full control. I can recognize the number. I know how to sit with it and let it pass. Instead of running from it, that it always creates an open loop in the mind. Sit with it, let it pass. And they were able to get the family to start expanding their safety zones because the therapist had them take control by knowing your number, sit with it, hold it, recognize the feelings that are happening, and then reevaluate. And it helped the family completely reevaluate. And I thought it was a great thing for an entrepreneur, to test and evaluate the same thing, even when you're stressed or you got to give bad news to a client. Instead of saying, oh shit, what am I going to do? I'm going to just ignore this and take care of it later tomorrow. Eben Pagan taught this at his event. Just sit, let the feelings go through you, wait and recognize what it is. I know David knows a lot of this. Sit and wait and recognize what it is and let it pass and then move on. David, do you have any other insight? Because I know you have a lot of experience in that field, sir.
No, that was cool. I mean, it was cool to do that on myself real quick because the first thing you said was you must do the task before you can outsource it. And I was like, I just came on here to figure out like where to place ads and stuff.
Exactly. Yep.
So I'm sure no one else is like that.
All right, you guys, I got a couple fires brewing around here. I got to run. Other than that, I appreciate you guys very, very much. And any other questions, comments, concerns, divine revelations?
Quick question, Kurt.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on paying your team as a 1099 versus W-2?
We do 1099 for the first 90 days and then go to a W-2.
Okay.
So just I think everybody else knows this in here. That's all right. I'm sitting on the floor. The first, Texas has different laws for employment versus contractor. So Texas is still a fire at will state. The contractor can be ended at any time. And you have to pay that. Contractor can be ended at any time. So that's why we go through the probationary period. It still can be with a W-2. W-2 just gives people just a little bit more security as well too. You're going to pay a little bit more in taxes, but sometimes kind of like the way that I feel is as we're growing up as a business, it's one of the things that's required to do. But I would start out everybody, check out your own little state law, your own state laws. But I'd start out everybody out on contractors first for the 90 days so they can prove themselves.
Cool.
Any other questions or comments? Cool. All right, I appreciate everything. I will chat with you later.
Kurt?
Thanks,
Yes,
Kurt.
sir.
Hey, I can ask you this later if you got to go. I was just going to ask you, you checked out the state laws in in Texas regarding, I understood that you had well, we can talk about this later.
That's fine. Yeah, I'll chat with you later this afternoon, homie.
Okay, bye.